was leaving, it wasn't me. They came knocking at my door, talking scandal, talking war, cameras flashing every night, but I'm still sitting in the spotlight. Dollar bills inside the couch, everybody running mouths. Mr. President, explain. I just smile and dodge the blame. They say the farm became a scene, but politics ain't squeaky clean. Some road cops went chasing fame, trying to cash in on my name. Oh, Julia, stop your shouting. DA, stop your pouting. You can march and you can cry, but I ain't saying goodbye. I will not go. Oh no, I will not go. Like Shaggy said, it wasn't me. They stole my money, stole my show, but I'm still where I wanna be. I will not go. Oh no, I will not go. The Concord talking endlessly. It's business as usual at the ANC, and the president is still me. Cold Bull was worth the price. 580 grand now, ain't that nice? Mr. Mustafa paid in cash. Too much money had to stash. Safe was busted, banks were closed. What else could anybody propose? Stuff the sofa, pack it tight. Keep the furniture out of sight. Everybody loves to preach, but power's always out of reach. I'm the captain of this ship, and I ain't about to slip. Fikile, don't even bother. Save your speeches for another. The movement's here and so am I. ANC will never die. I will not go. Oh no, I will not go. You scream corruption on TV, but it's my way or the highway, bro. And this chair belongs to me. I will not go. Oh no, I will not go. You can protest endlessly. It's business as usual at the ANC, and the president is still me. You can wave your little papers, you can hold your big debates, but the man inside the union building still controls the gates. You say scandal, I say survival. You say shame, I say revival. No resignation fantasy. From Fala Fala to Pretoria, this whole thing's history. I will not go. Oh no, I will not go. So get over it and let me be. The ANC is here to stay, and so am I, eternally. Mr. President, still seated, still smiling, it wasn't me. Yeah.
Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your your side, you manipulator. Playing games, your friends commentators. And I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to the program. Chris Live. Didn't know that Ronaldo had a press conference going on right now. That's news to me. It's obviously over. I don't know if we have a link after that. We're supposed to our show today. So, does he have it listed? I don't even see it. Here it is. Yeah, it's listed. So, okay, I was just curious. Interesting. Didn't know he was on today. Welcome back to the program, folks. Yeah, I should have just offered another couch. That's exactly right. That probably would have done the trick. Sorry, folks. Trying to find my mobile phone. I don't know where the heck it's at. I had it this morning because the alarm went off. Mobile phone. But it seems not be here. I must have misplaced it somewhere. Just need to charge it because I need to run out a little bit later on. So, yep. Right. We got anything in the chat need to address before we get started? Sloth Puppy, one of the OGs, is here. Kathy Price. Primal Boar. Western Cape only got power and signal back today. The wind, flood damage is intense. Not know how long it will take to fix all this. It's going to take a while, unfortunately, Primal Boar. Water from the rivers came down early this morning. It's flooding town after town. Yep. Well, people shouldn't build their homes in low-lying areas. It's just, it's not common sense. Francois Thron, welcome to you. Wow, that's lucky, Primal Boar. You guys came out all right. Just want to give us glory. Got my divorce certificate 13 years ago. Transferred African this by the High Court free of charge. Wow, that's amazing. How did you pull that off? That's amazing, Martin. People are going to want to know how to do that. Here for the Daily Dose of Colonel's Vaccine Against BS. Love the song. All right, cool beans. I will not go. Starlink is being sold illegally in South Africa. I don't know what you're talking about. Blue on the roof could not leave the farm because of trees. Hey, Sally, Neff, all right, anything else here I need to cover? No, you guys just greet each other. All right, let's get to the news. Got plenty of news to talk about. Then I'm supposed to be on with Ronaldo, but we'll see. I haven't got a link from him yet, probably because he's been busy dealing with what he's been dealing with now. But I do need to set this up so you get transferred there. Let me do that real quick, very quickly. So we got the redirect. So anybody wants to go to Ronaldo after this can go there. All right, there we go. Cool. He's got a bunch of streams set up already. I used to do that, but then they hang there for a long time. No drinking water. Your dams are catch. Yeah, I know that doesn't make any sense, does it? Your dams are overflowing, but you have no drinking water. Strange how that happens. All right, folks, let's get to the news. And just in case you're curious, my sense of humor may harm your damn feelings. And if you don't understand modern standard written English spoken, it is written there for you, right there. My sense of humor may hurt your damn feelings. So just understand that before we go any further. Lots to talk about here. The impeachment process has begun for President Cyril Ramaphosa in South Africa. Oh, I got that too, Crystal. Parliament presented two options to party whips during the meeting. And the composition of this is interesting. National Assembly's Chief Whips Forum has agreed to the composition of Section 89 committee that will determine whether there is prima facie evidence to institute impeachment proceedings against Ramaphosa. Well, there is. Why do they have to determine anything? 31 members. ANC has almost a third of those seats. The proposal ultimately adopted by parties allocates 19 seats to the four largest parties in Parliament, the ANC, the DA, the MK, and EFF, while the remaining 12 seats will be shared among smaller parties. Under the formula, ANC has 9 seats, the DA just 5, MK 3, and EFF 2, which actually is a pretty accurate breakout of what people got in the vote. The PAC and Good will not be represented, with parties citing potential conflicts of interest due to their participation around post-executive. Well, they're all involved, so they all should be out. The four largest parties account for 87% of parliamentary seats. Okay. What about the Freedom Front Plus? I don't see them there. Vuyo Zungula from the African Transformation Movement said the Speaker must be the first one to challenge any attempts that seeks to render Parliament useless in its constitutional mandate of upholding the executive accountable and conducting necessary oversight for all the checks and balances to remain in place. Well, let's not get too excited about that. Could South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa be removed over the cash in the sofa scandal? That's what Al Jazeera is calling it. Wow. He came to power on an anti-corruption mandate, but he's obviously accused of being involved in massive, pervasive corruption. He addressed the nation Monday to declare his intention to remain in the post, is set to face multi-party impeachment committee, which will investigate allegations he covered up in 2020 break-in in his private ranch and the theft of more than $500,000 in U.S. currency, concealing the incident from police and tax authorities. Not to mention the money laundering that took place, not to mention the kidnapping, the torture, the perversion of the means of justice. Well, that's even made Al Jazeera. Dark clouds hang over South Africa as ICASA refuses to consider alternative investment and forces companies coming to South Africa to give their money to undeserving, untalented, black caters. Did somebody hide Karen Long by mistake? What's the question here, Sally? What is your question? You're asking Charles a question. The only person that can unhide someone on the channel is me. And so if you've mistakenly blocked someone, I need to know about it. That's why we are very judicious about who becomes a moderator. Eric used to make a lot of mistakes because of her strokes, and she just stopped doing it. Dark clouds over South Africa. Unemployment is up again. Unemployment. The country lost 345,000 jobs between January and March. Ladies and gentlemen, South Africa is shedding jobs at 115. Oh, so Karen Long. Is it Karen Long? I will pause what I'm doing. All right. And I will stop. I cannot have that happen. We have to hear about her cats. Otherwise, we're not going to know what's going on. So I have to go there now and do this. Settings, permissions, community moderation. Okay, it's going to take me a while to do this because a lot of blocked people. So, okay, user management. Okay, moderators. Okay, so Karen Long, is that who you blocked? See, unfortunately, it doesn't let me do this at one time. I have to go through all these things. Where's Dogzilla? Boy, life has been so much better without that jerk off here. I gotta go through 200 more now. That's why moderators have to be very careful. Blocking someone's very severe action. Give them a timeout's one thing, but very severe action to block somebody. There's Karen Long. Is it the right Karen Long? I hope I'm not getting it wrong. Okay. So I've reinstituted Karen Long. I hope that's the Karen Long we all know. Karen, if you're out there, I've put you back in. Okay. All right, you should be able to chat again now. If you're here, please do it. Okay, I'm not sure how that happened or what happened there, but anyway. Okay, what's going on here? Why is YouTube not working? Why YouTube is not working? What's going on here? Their tab was dead. Yeah, it was the tab was dead for some reason. Okay, got it fixed now. Okay. All right. So there you go. Graham says the DA is not supporting the motion of confidence. Do you know that? Has it been stated? I've seen no reporting on it. Or is that just your opinion? If you're going to be your opinion, you've got to give us your opinion. If it's a fact, then tell us the fact. I don't know the fact. Right. All right. So Karen Long is back in there if that was in fact her that was blocked. So how did that happen? I didn't even see her in the chat. How did she get blocked when she wasn't even here? I don't even see her in the chat anywhere. I only saw one Karen. It was Janssen from Rendsburg. So anyway, well, that was a nice distraction. We wasted about 5 minutes on that. All right, back to... yes, Garrett, you are unreasonable, and she's very reasonable. 345,000 people lost their jobs January to March of 2026 in South Africa, where the economists, all the media, the presidency, the Minister of Finance have all told you that it's on the upswing. The economy's on the upswing. We already know that GDP will be halved to just 0.5% this year, and now we're hearing about 115,000 job losses every single month. In a season when you shouldn't be losing jobs. 115,000 jobs per month disappearing in a country that can ill afford to lose any jobs. The death toll has risen to at least 10 as flood disaster leaves thousands homeless in the Western Cape. There's someone sitting on the roof there. See them? The death toll from devastating storms in battered Western Cape has climbed to 10, with more than 2,000 residents been displaced in the Cape Winelands as floodwaters continue to wreak havoc across parts of the province. Western Cape Minister for Local Government, Environmental Affairs and Development Planning, Anton Bredel, said that emergency response and recovery operations remain at a critical level despite improved weather conditions. Provincial Department of Health and Wellness has confirmed that 10 fatalities across the province related to the recent severe weather conditions. Yeah, green shoots, that's right. We were told the economic life of last year, green shoots economy, and I've told you the truth. I've told you the truth for the past year that South Africa's economic recovery is a myth. It's a fantasy cooked up by politicians and fake media in South Africa. And here you go. 115,000 job losses per month. 115,000 job losses in the first 3 months of this year per month. 345,000 people no longer have formal jobs in South Africa. It's insane. Absolutely insane. And for Starlink, no change in the law. South Africa's racism wins again. South Africa's communications regulator will not allow an alternative to a rule requiring communications license holders to be at 30% owned by historically disadvantaged groups without a law change. The Independent Communications Authority of South Africa, ICASA, confirmed this in a statement today. Communications Digital Technology Minister Sully Malatsi said the department will pursue legislative amendments to enact the change. But that will never happen because the ANC has the votes. And the EFF and MK will not vote to allow white people to participate in the economy. Their racial revenge and racial hatred agenda is well known, and they will do nothing to change the impoverishment and the punishment of white South Africans born after apartheid who bear no responsibility for the fake sufferings that these fat cats claim that they suffered under. Yeah, Davi Root also said there was economic growth, and I said there wasn't. Bad news about Starlink. Yep. There you go, folks. ICASA says nope, no alternative. Yep. Under South Africa's black economic empowerment laws and regulations, people of Chinese descent may also sometimes be considered black if they became citizens before 1994. Pretty much everybody but white men are allowed to participate in this scam. Well, according to Cyril Ramaphosa, despite this racist legislation, this racist position by the racist governing body of ICASA, South Africa is a place, it's a safe bet for investors. Oh my goodness. Cyril Ramaphosa's move to assure investors their investments are safe as South Africa's business operating environment is underpinned by the rule of law. No, it's not. South Africa has now intentionally blocked the assets of refugees who've come to America, while not allowing them to take their money out of the banks and transfer it here, all within the confines of the 1 million rand per year they're allowed. They're being denied that opportunity by banks, which are imposing restrictions on their movement of money. This is a lie. Do not invest in South Africa if you want a return on investment, because you cannot take your money out of the country. These racist laws, which force you to give your equity to someone based on skin color, not on talent, not on ideas, not on investment, not on equity, just because they happen to have skin color that's black. This racist law, this failing infrastructure, this corruption, this gangster-led construction mafia, this gangster-led taxi industry, this gangster government, and he's trying to tell you that it's a safe bet. You're safer putting your money in a rubbish bin and lighting it on fire than you are investing in South Africa. Investing in South Africa, unless you're already in South Africa, is a fool's errand. Delivering the keynote address at the South Africa Infrastructure Investment Summit in Cape Town, Ramaphosa said, because it is the building block of every modern nation, every economy on earth, infrastructure is the next great frontier of investment. The event was hosted by one of the world's largest infrastructure platforms, BlackRock, which has made a $500 million commitment towards the African Infrastructure Fund, which isn't for South Africa, with investments in energy, logistics, and transport infrastructure. Well, Cyril Ramaphosa says that South Africa is a safe bet for international investors, while at the same day, his racist ICASA issued a racist declaration that prevents people from investing in South Africa. What is the rich irony of that, to say the very least? Well, if you think South Africa is a safe bet, well, I hope you don't need law enforcement. The Mshlangu Commission exposed the deep rot within SAPS, with the fallout reaching the highest levels, ranks of law enforcement. A senior officer has been arrested and hauled before court to answer the corruption allegations. So here's a list of 13 accused right here, and this is just from the Medicare tender scandal. This isn't even all of them. National Police Commissioner Fanny Masamola, Major General Busisiwe Precious Temba, Brigadier General Rachel Macheng. Why are these people generals? They haven't got the competence to be a frickin' patrolman, let alone a general. Brigadier Alfifis Thembikosi Ngema, Brigadier Patrick Ntengwe, Brigadier Kirsty Yonka, former Brigadier Petunia Rabatwa Lenono, Brigadier Onika Ofensa Toale. What qualifications these idiots have to even be police officers, let alone leading the police force? Colonel Nonjabula Nomfundo Mdangi. Did they just make these names up? Colonel Anton Paulson, Colonel Natsenge Johannes Monya. They can't even find a photograph of that guy. Captain Brian Cartwright and Procurement Officer Tumisho Nehemiah Maleka. Also arrested Sergeant Fanny Nkosi, Crime Intelligence Officer Feroz Khan, who's a 2-star general, and Gauteng's Hawks boss Ibrahim Kadwa, also a 2-star general. And then in Kerlini, we've got Deputy Chief Julius Mkwanazi, City Manager Kajiso Larutla, and these are the alleged kingpins. Vusimusi Kat Mtatla, Katso KT Molefe, and Joe Ferrari Sibunyadi. You know how you get the name Ferrari. Additionally, KwaZulu-Natal Hawks head Lesetia Sonona Organized Crime Unit boss Richard Shiribi and Sedibeng Police Commissioner Mangwe Nkwechu have also been referred for investigation. You can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot make this stuff up. This is South Africa. Is the entire police force corrupt? One has to wonder. South Africa's electricity minister admits that there's been a 987% price rise in electricity. Minister of Electricity and Energy, Dr. Kojasenso Ramakopa, has revealed that electricity prices have increased a staggering 987% between 2007 and 2023. Speaking to SABC after presenting his department's budget on Tuesday, he said the government has finalized a new electricity pricing policy. We do appreciate the fact there's been an exponential rise in the cost of electricity. Just a startling figure between 2007 and 2023, electricity has gone up by 987%, and inflation has gone up in the same period by 150%. Well, the problem with that is that that isn't even the full measure of what's happened. National Colored Congress Member of Parliament and leader Fadiel Adams bail hearing. Court is told he has a history of disregard for the law. Pinetown Magistrates Court today was told National Colored Congress leader and member of Parliament Fadiel Adams has a history of disrespecting the rule of law, including the Southampton Police Service and the criminal justice system. Court also heard about Adams' previous run-ins with the law. The applicant's utterances and conduct indicate his resentment against PKTT. He's presently charged with interfering with matters investigated by the PKTT. He has on numerous occasions made public comments that may be viewed as defamation of character against the PKTT and people he perceives are linked to the PKTT. Same can be seen on the video footage played in court. And a social media post, he said, "Lock me up. I won't apologize to that P word." He also said the Equality Court finds I've discriminated against the city manager who's discriminated against us. F the court. Well, okay. So much for your bail, buddy. F the court. Oh, my goodness. He's arrested in the parliamentary precinct on May 5th after police issued a warrant for his arrest on charge of fraud and defeating the ends of justice. His actions have attracted significant public attention and scrutiny. Such conduct impacts ongoing investigation by creating fear and reluctance to witnesses to cooperate in cases, hampering the law from carrying out its constitutional mandate. Wow. Fidel Adams not helping his own case. You're correct. Well, under Peter Herdevald, they've been raiding prison cells and they've found 37,000 mobile phones. Seriously? Correctional Services Minister Pete Hernevald on Wednesday painted a picture of a department that is pushing self-sufficiency and sustainability efforts while being saddled with limited resources and a shrinking budget. Speaking during the debate on the department's 2026 budget, he said the department faced a challenging situation marked by tight budgets, departure experienced officials, rising number of offenders serving longer sentences, and crime levels that have not declined at the pace society demands. Over the current midterm expenditure framework, the department must absorb budget reductions amounting to 683 million rand. Wow. He told MPs the prison population stood at 169,519 with an overcrowding rate of 58%. 63,194 are remand detainees. That's, in other words, people who are just waiting a trial. My goodness. It's just crazy. We're steadily improving towards a model of greater self-sufficiency where each management area is equipped with its own bakery. During December-January holiday period alone, officials carried out searches across correctional facilities nationwide, confiscating over 8,000 cell phones and 102,700 rand in cash and numerous other illegal items. They've had 1,406 raids in prisons during the last financial year, and more than 37,500 cell phones and other contraband were confiscated. He said 2,388 officials were subjected to disciplinary hearings during the reporting period, and 2,138 cases have been finalized. My goodness. Peter Hernevald, a poison chalice. I said that when he took on that responsibility. Or why he ever took on that responsibility. Nelson Mandela Bay, a leadership accused of shielding officials implicated in 35 million rand streetlight tender scandal. I've told you about this streetlight tenders. I went to visit Ronaldo in 2022, and he showed me all the streetlights that were cut down, the brand new ones installed by his council and cut down for tenders. Yep, Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality Administration's apparent lack of willingness to take decisive action against 21 officials implicated in the 35 million rand streetlight tender scandal points to the absolute failure of consequence management in the metro, according to Marina van Sale, a DA member and member of Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. Residents must note these allegations of serious corruption that are met with delays and political protection instead of bold, decisive leadership. The buck stops with Mayor Babalawa Lobishe and her administration. Remember Babalawa, who also impersonates beach whales in her spare time. Babalawa also graded her own performance at 80%, 8 out of 10. Remember that? Yes. Wow. Unbelievable. 4 Mexicans believed to be among 11 people arrested in a drug raid. Now Mexicans who can't get across the Rio Grande are going to South Africa to ply their trade in drugs. Police said 11 people arrested, including 4 suspects who are Mexican nationals after a National Crime Intelligence Unit uncovered a drug lab in Northwest. Police spokesman Brigadier Athlenda Mate said the facility is estimated to be a 100 million rand operation. She said investigations are ongoing and the crime scene is active. Now the Mexicans are coming to South Africa. That's how wide open the borders are. The Mexicans can swim all the way from Mexico to South Africa undetected, enter South Africa, and start drug labs. Yeah. South Africa has truly porous borders. The Mexicans can swim all the way there. Of course, they didn't swim there. They flew in on a flight. Oh, my goodness. Well, Gabe McKenzie says he's not going to rest until South Africa gets the World Cup. Well, the 2023 World Cup should have been in South Africa. But frankly, at the state of South Africa today, that's the last time South Africa should ever be legitimately considered for a World Cup. South Africa's collapsing infrastructure, its rampant crime, its hazard to tourists, its corruption, its potholed roads, its lack of aviation fuel, its total disaster that's become, it should never host a World Cup again. Not under these conditions, not until this corrupt government is removed and governments that provide services are actually delivered to South Africa and racist laws are repealed. But he's not going to rest. Gabe McKenzie pushes to bring Rugby World Cup back to South Africa. Yep. Absolutely. I got to write something down here real quick, folks, before I forget. All right. He will not rest until South Africa gets the World Cup. Well, good luck with that, buddy. It'll be a long time for you to get any sleep. 31 years since South Africa hosted the Rugby World Cup. A minister of sports, arts, and culture, Gabe McKenzie, has any say about it. That period will soon come to an end. We have the best players, the best teams, the best World Cup team. We've won the World Cup multiple times. Unfortunately, none of that applies. You need to have venues. You need to have safety. You need to have quality of life. You need to have good stuff. You can't have the disaster pit that South Africa's become. Yeah, he also promised the Formula One would be coming to South Africa, and that is not happening. Yep. South Africa mysteriously lost out on hosting the World Cup. They did get the victory over New Zealand. Australia's 2027, United States in 2031, the next editions. Bidding for 2035 is still open. Saro is very financially prudent, McKenzie explained. They don't want to commit to something in their power over. Well, Saro was nearly bankrupt in 2017, so what is he talking about? Southern Rugby has given no indications it will bid to host the 2035 edition. The governing body incurred a $33 million pre-tax loss in 2017, partly due to the cost of the $24 million pouring into the bidding process. Exactly, that's what I said. Yeah, there it is right there. They were the most successful team in the history of the tournament, having claimed the trophy 4 times. 1995, 2007, 2019, and 2023. And if we take it in Australia next year, it'll be 5 times and leave the All Blacks in the dust. Well, George Claassen comes out to defend in News 24 with a strange, confusing, very long, novel response to the Daily Maverick. George Claassen defending his publication, saying silence is a lie. News 24, the Daily Maverick, and the textbook saga. And he just goes on and 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 on. He wrote a book. Look at this. That's an op-ed. Who has the time and energy to read all that drivel? I don't. Adrian, thank you for 140 Rand for all the work I do. And Mr. T, don't get to watch your lives anymore. Works good and moving to new states soon. Okay, Mr. T, I guess you're in the States. You can watch my lives at night. I'm on Night Owls, especially if you're outside the Eastern time zone. It'll be very early for you. Spain is eager to host the Rugby World Cup. Stadiums, everything else. No thanks. I have no interest in going to Spain for a World Cup. Gabe McKenzie once again putting his foot in his mouth, saying he vows to rescue the Soweto Marathon and pay unpaid athletes. How? With state resources? Sports Minister Gabe McKenzie reiterated the department's plan to temporarily take over the Soweto Marathon. He will meet with race organizers and Athletics South Africa next week to help restore governance structures. So, what we have here is Gabe McKenzie playing the role of socialist, stealing from the private sector, taking over a private race, and then paying the winners out of taxpayer resources. No, not a good plan. Not a good plan. Not a good plan. Well, Rossi Erasmus has announced his alignment camp. And a lot of people I've never heard of, including this guy here. Swakthelo Siaya. Never heard of him. National coach Rossi Erasmus named a 40-man group that will congregate in Cape Town next week to align preparations for the international season. Comprise only locally based players, and the camp falls in the gaps between the end of the ERC and regular season and the start of the playoffs. List of players was very Rossi. There are a total of 8 Lions players in the camp. Over his 8 years at the helm, Erasmus has never been overly swayed by what he sees in the ERC. Lions scrum half Warnie Funderbeck is already in the Buck system. Erasmus is a fan, but the likes of powerhouse loose forward Shlakani and inform Mahasha, hugely significant moment. So there are your forwards. Paul de Villiers, Ben Jason Dixon, Neethling Fouché, Ntukum Kuno, Salman Murat, Riley Norton, Zachary Porthen, Evan Ruiz, Andre Hugo Fenter from the Stormers, Shlakane, Frankie Horn, Sebabalo Mahashe, Asinate Labakanye from the Lions, Johan Gerbela, Cameron Hanneken, Elric Lowe, Wilco Lowe, Rowan Nordkiek, Gerhard Steenkamp, Marco van Staden, Jan Hendrik Vessels, and Kobus Visa, all from the Bulls. Siaklisi Oxenche, Emmanuel Chichuka from the Sharks. In the backs, Kurtley Aronson, Kane Moody, Ambrose Papier, Andre Pollard from the Bulls, Andre Esterhuizen, Swilakini Sabia, Edwell Fandemeva, Grant Williams, Yaku Williams, all from the Sharks. Kuhnhorn, Hashib, Pede, Finko van Wijk, Mornay Vandenberg from Lions, Sasha Feinberg, Zulu, and Damon Willemse from the Stormers. Thank you, Debbie, for the 150 Rand super chat. You notice that there are 10 uncapped players in that group, but there are no guys that are exclusively from the Curry Cup, which is a shame. Turning our attention to Botswana, where Festus Mogai has passed away. Botswana mourns the loss of former President Festus Mogai, a story that doesn't appear in any outlet in South Africa I can find except for the IOL. Former Botswana President Festus Mogai has died at the age of 86. The announcement was made by current Botswana President Duma Boko. Reports that he'd been ill for some time. Paying tribute, the former leader Boko said the country is mourning the loss of a distinguished statesman and patriot who devoted his life to service his country. As a nation, we grieve the loss of a remarkable servant leader of the people whose commitment to Botswana remained unwavering throughout his life. He was the third president of Botswana after taking up his country's first seat in 1999. He served 2 terms. In the interest of full disclosure, I met President Mogai personally and actually did a ribbon cutting ceremony with him, photographs of the two of us cutting a ribbon at the Stepping Stones school or after-school activity in Botswana. Yep, interesting gentleman. Fair winds and smooth sailing to Festus Mogai. 300 Ghanaians have taken the offer to be evacuated from South Africa amid xenophobic attacks. Recent protests have seen citizens demanding the immediate deportation of foreigners. Ghana's President John Mahama has approved the immediate evacuation of 300 Ghanaian citizens living in South Africa following a surge in xenophobic attacks. These distressed Ghanaians had earlier complained that the Foreign Ministry's advisory and registered with their High Commission in Pretoria to be rescued following the latest wave of xenophobic attacks. Crazy. Crazy. Africa can no longer be sidelined at the UN Security Council, says the AU chief. He should just shut up. Mahmoud Ali Youssef. Africa can no longer be excluded from permanent representation in the UN Security Council, African Union Commission chairperson Mahmoud Ali Youssef said. Speaking at a ministerial meeting at the United Nations Security Council Reform on the Sidelines Africa-France Summit in Kenyan capital Nairobi, Youssef said the continent's demand is not a request for special treatment, but a response to long-standing imbalance in global governance. Africa is not asking for a favor. Africa is demanding a correction to historical injustice. Historical injustice. No, there's no historical injustice. There's not one single African state that has any relevance in the global scene. Sorry. Hurt your feelings? It's a reality. African nations challenge unfair borrowing costs in Nairobi. See, look, we can't ignore you because you want to be deadbeats and borrow more money. Leaders call for credit rating reforms to address perceived risk bias. African leaders used the second day of a summit with French President Emmanuel Macron to push for easier access to credit that could help fund major investments and boost economic growth. A years-long campaign by African governments for reforms to reduce their borrowing costs got to boost money when Macron said he would support creating a first loss guarantee mechanism. African governments argue they suffer from unduly high perception of risk among lenders, which can make credit prohibitively expensive. The issue is not liquidity, it's risk architecture, said President Ruto of Kenya. I'm sorry? Mauritania, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, Chad, Somalia, Kenya, Uganda, South Sudan, Sudan. Undue risk? Are you high? Nothing but conflict and destruction. And I can start running through the list of corrupt countries, starting with South Africa, where people just steal money from the people. Undue risk? No. There's a reason why African countries have such terrible ratings. They're earned. Missing U.S. soldiers has been found dead in Morocco. The body of one of 2 U.S. soldiers who went missing during African Lion military exercise in Morocco has been recovered from the Atlantic Ocean. He's identified as First Lieutenant Kendrick Lamont Key, 27, an air defense artillery officer from Richmond, Virginia. A Moroccan military search team found... Why has he got a colored patch on his uniform? That's not allowed. You have to have a subdued patch there. Found his remains along the shoreline at 8:55 a.m. local time on May 9th, roughly 1 mile from where the 2 soldiers were believed to have entered the water. According to the U.S. Army, he was a platoon leader assigned to Charlie Battery, 5th Battalion, 4th Air Defense Artillery Regiment, 10th Army Air and Missile Defense Command. Key, another U.S. soldier, reported missing on May 2nd near the Cap Dra training area outside 1010, a rugged coastal zone of cliffs, desert, and semi-desert plains. They had taken part in African Lion 26 early in the day, but officials said they were off duty during a recreational hike when they fell from the cliff. The operation to find the remains has involved more than 600 personnel from the United States, Morocco, and partner force using frigates, vessels, helicopters, drones, divers, and ground teams. Wow, that's a lot of effort to find them. Gunshots have rung out in the Philippine Senate, where a lawmaker has been holed up. Ronald De La Rosa, police chief under ex-president Duterte, faces an International Criminal Court arrest warrant. More than a dozen gunshots rang out in the Philippine Senate as police and Marines moved in to arrest Senator wanted by the ICC for alleged crimes against humanity. Wow. Journalists ran for cover as gunfire erupted on Wednesday evening, minutes after soldiers with rifles and protective gear went up the stairs to the legislative building. 15 shots were fired and we were forced to pull back. It was not immediately clear who fired the shots. Philippine Senator Roland De La Rosa had said earlier he was anticipating his arrest, urging people to come to the legislature to prevent him from being detained and sent to the ICC. Wow. South Korea is considering supporting the United States' effort to secure the Strait of Hormuz. Desperate for petroleum, they finally step up to the plate. South Korean Defense Minister Ang Guk-bak said Wednesday Seoul may offer support to the U.S.-led effort to guide commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz. He said during a meeting with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth in Washington that Seoul could contribute in phases to the reopening effort as a responsible member of the international community. Wow. Well, let's see what happens. This comes after South Korean ship, the HMMM Namu, targeted by Iranian missile and drone attacks last week. Caused a fire, but no casualties. Canada says it wants to trade with people not the United States, but there's a problem. Their ports suck. A lack of capacity at Canada's main marine terminals threatens to thwart trade diversification efforts and policymakers that economists say are necessary. Canada has a port problem. Bank Canada this week shined a spotlight on the lack of capacity at the country's 17 main maritime terminals, and policymakers and economists say threaten to thwart trade diversification efforts and make life costlier for households. Some of that capacity shortfall can be attributed to the lack of investment in Canada's regulatory quagmire. Two challenges Prime Minister Carney has tried to address since taking power last year. The U.S. is very close to Canada, so we're very good when it comes to trade with them. But we have a large country, and we have not invested enough in our transport things within our country and for export markets. Bank Canada said Canadian ports can't accommodate some of the latest ultra-large container ships being deployed. So they have to go to California. Once in California, the Canadian-bound goods get slapped with Trump administration tariffs. So things from China are more expensive in Canada, even though we did not impose new tariffs. Government data indicate that 20% of Canadian exports and 23% of imports pass through domestic ports. The rest go through U.S. ports. And the Canadians want to play chicken with Trump. These are not smart people. Trump arrives in Beijing for a high-stakes meeting with Xi Jinping, the commie leader himself. The president stepped off Air Force One, walked along a red carpet as 300 Chinese children dressed in blue and white uniforms waved American Chinese flags. Chinese Vice President Han Sheng led the welcome delegation on behalf of Mr. Xi, a sign of the trip's importance. Mr. Han is Mr. Xi's envoy for diplomatic relations, and he attended Trump's 2025 inauguration. There you go. He'll formally be welcomed Thursday morning in Beijing, which will be Wednesday evening here in Washington. So we'll look forward to that tonight. Vice President J.D. Vance says states that fail to address fraud will lose federal Medicaid funding. Vice President J.D. Vance is planning to deliver an ultimatum to all 50 states: fully comply with anti-fraud statutes or run the risk of losing federal Medicaid funding, according to senior administration officials. This means your failure to do your job has put all of your states' Medicaid funds in jeopardy. It's not good. That is not good. Administration halted nearly $260 million in Medicaid funding to Minnesota earlier this year in the wake of allegations that federal services are being wrongfully exploited by the state's Somali population. And more to come. More federal funding to be cut off to these states that fail to hold people accountable. Republicans are trying to pivot and are considering an emergency tax holiday, but federal tax on gasoline isn't all that high, so it's not going to have much of an impact. Yep. With prices rising 3.8%, the latest inflation reports, they want to remove taxes on gasoline, but it's not going to have much of a benefit there. Not much benefit. But apparently they think it will hoodwink voters into supporting Republicans. South Carolina Republicans surprisingly refused to redistrict the state, protecting James Clyburn, the loudmouth race-hustling goober from South Carolina. Representative James Clyburn has long been a power broker in the Demon Rat Party. The state Senate leader had warned that a new map could backfire for the GOP. Republicans in South Carolina's legislature on Tuesday rejected a plan aimed at flipping the state's lone Democratic-held seat, which has long been occupied by one of the country's most senior and influential black leaders and race hustlers. The rejection was a victory, at least for now, for James Clyburn. This would have been the proposed map, and you can see that it weakens all the territories down south towards the Atlantic. The existing situation is this. Overwhelmingly strong Republican districts would be weakened. And so they voted against it. It's a victory for James Clyburn and defeat for Donald Trump. U.S. drug overdose deaths have fallen for the third straight year. Fatalities in 2025 declined to pre-pandemic levels, driven by a drop in opioid-related deaths, including fentanyl, now that the border is much more secure. 69,973 drug overdose deaths in 2025, a 14% drop from the year earlier. These numbers were over 100,000 during the Biden years. A major spike when Biden became president, declining under Trump. 110,000 people a year dying in 3 of the 4 years that Biden was president. Another 80,000. That's 330 plus the 410,000 Americans died from drug overdoses during Biden's years. Wow. Well, here's the one. We've been talking about this in the past, the Trump mobile. Remember the gold phone, 4547 was going to be the charge, or 4745? Well, Trump Mobile quietly rewrote its fine print to say the gold Trump phone may never be made. A year after making $100 deposits. That's odd. This is news reported by Marco Quiroz Gutierrez in Fortune magazine. A year after followers of President Trump put down $100 deposit for Trump-branded gold phone, not one is shipped, and a recent change in fine print has some worry they may never get one. But Trump mobile phones start shipping this week. 2 days after that story, the Trump Corporation, Trump Mobile, announced that they are shipping this week. The phones are designed with American values in mind. We use components primarily manufactured in the U.S. To order the T1 phone, which runs Android, customers must join a waiting list and pay a $100 refundable deposit. The phone is currently being sold for a promotional price of $499. The 47 plan is available for $47.45. Text, talk, and data, and complete device protection. Roadside assistance, telehealth, and free international calling to more than 100 countries. Ooh, free international calling. That's interesting. Check that out. I will check that out. So I didn't put one on hold, but yeah, apparently you can get it. So $47.45 a month for nationwide coverage, roadside assistance. Now the taxes are extra. 20 gigabytes high-speed data for 30-day period. Okay. So the phone apparently is ready to ship. Trump Mobile. Get in line now. Light rain, that's not a realistic expectation. We're running low on junkies. No, people become junkies every day. It's a changing culture as well. Otherwise, you would never have anyone. Anyway, so the Golden Dome missile defense system could cost $1.2 trillion. Massive upfront costs of space-based missile interceptors would drive the price tag past $1 trillion. President Trump's proposed Golden Dome missile shield could cost over $1 trillion over 20 years, including a massive upfront cost to deploy cutting-edge space-based missile interceptors, widely seen as crucial to the project's success. Well, $1.2 trillion over 20 years really isn't that much money, folks. It's a little over $100 billion a year. Is that right? Yeah. Princeton has changed its 133-year-old honor code because they've got massive cheating at this corrupt, race-baiting, anti-Semitic, America-hating institution. The faculty voted to require proctoring in all in-person exams starting this summer, revising a policy that it set in place in 1893. For more than a century, Princeton prided itself on an honor code so revered that proctoring during exams was banned. Students pledged not to cheat was enough. Not anymore. They're saying AI is responsible. It's made it easier for students to cheat and harder to spot. They're loath to report cheating because they'll be afraid they'll be called out on social media. Those who do make reports often file anonymously, making it difficult for the school to investigate. It's one of the few schools that use an honor code letting students take exams without a professor present. Not anymore. Not anymore. Now the cheats will have a proctor. A California mayor resigns after admitting to being a spy for China. The mayor of the Los Angeles suburb resigned Monday as U.S. officials announced that she will plead guilty in federal court to acting as an illegal agent for the Chinese government. Federal prosecutors announced Monday that Eileen Wang, 58, of Arcadia, has been charged with one count of acting in the U.S. as an illegal agent of a foreign government and is expected to plead guilty in the coming weeks. Charge is punished with up to 10 years in prison. She admitted to acting as a foreign agent from at least 2020 through 2022, promoting PRC propaganda in the U.S. and acting in the PRC's direction to promote their interest. She was elected in November 2022 by the 5-member council, where a mayor is selected on a rotating basis. The allegations at the center of this case that a foreign government sought to exert influence over local elected officials are deeply troubling. And I've warned you about this. There are Chinese spies everywhere. Many of them are ethnic Chinese, but some of them whiteys as well. They are betraying this country, especially in our academic institutions, in our government. Members of Congress sleeping with Chinese spies, Fang, Swalwell. Yeah, no. We know all about these cruds. And what happened to Swalwell? He's disappeared. Trump shares a post calling for Barack Obama's arrest. The post on social media was among a flurry of late-night posts in which Trump railed against his political opponents. President Trump shared a Truth Social post late Monday night calling for the arrest of Barack Obama without any evidence, calling him treason, President treason. Well, I agree. Barack Obama was a president of treason. He betrayed this country. Now, this is an interesting story. Billionaire comedian, owner of the Weather Channel, is buying controlling stake in BuzzFeed. Anybody recognize him? He's a bit older and bloated now, but that is Byron Allen. Boring old Byron Allen, who did those stupid video shows back in the 1980s. Who would have known that this guy has parlayed his minor celebrity into being a billionaire? BuzzFeed will now be majority owned by Byron Allen, the billionaire comedian who owns the parent company of the Weather Channel, with plans to rival YouTube as a streaming service. Well, but it doesn't stream, so how's that going to happen? In a release Monday, BuzzFeed announced the Allen Family Digital, an affiliate of Mr. Allen's family office, is buying 40 million shares for $120 million, giving them 52% of BuzzFeed. As part of the deal, he'll become chairman and CEO of BuzzFeed, replacing the founder, Jonah Peretti. Mr. Allen is also the founder, chairman, and CEO of the Allen Media Group, which owns the Weather Channel, 13 network affiliate local stations, and other TV channels. Mr. Peretti will be changing positions to become president of BuzzFeed AI. Other operational changes include spinning off BuzzFeed Studios and food content brand Tasty as an independent entity. Mr. Allen plans to have BuzzFeed and Huffington Post, which BuzzFeed acquired in 2021, become competitors to Google's YouTube. Not likely. Not likely. At the moment, with the power of AI, BuzzFeed is officially chasing YouTube to become another premier free video streaming service. Yeah, but we can't contribute, so that's the problem. Well, Byron Allen, a billionaire. Who knew? Impressive. Man made boring videos back in the 80s, and now he's a billionaire. Congratulations. Well, that's the news for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. But I do have one more story I want to talk about here. This came to me in the mail. The Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms has built a secret registry of firearm ownership. The ATF has 1 billion gun records, and over 900 million of them are already digitized. And sadly, under the Biden regime, Biden issued an executive order to make those records permanent, which is not what the law says. They cannot be destroyed. Congress expressed its intent and said you do a background check, but those records must be destroyed within hours of the background check, and that's no longer the case. Now they're retaining this data, which is illegal. The Biden administration has said that those records go into perpetuity. If a gun shop goes out of business, they've got to give all the records to the ATF. And rightly pointed out, there's about 1 billion records or about 1 billion transactions recorded there, 3 times the population of the United States. This bill would get rid of all those transactions, require that they be destroyed. It was never the intent of Congress, never the intent of the Founding Fathers to require anything like that. Wow. So behind our back, without our knowledge, the government has secretly retained gun checks, 1 billion gun checks. This is in violation of the Constitution. They have no right to do this. But that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. That's who they are, and that's what they're doing. Yeah, the Huffington Post, good luck with that. Yep. Well, that says a lot about Byron Allen. I thought he was a boring guy on television, but obviously he must be left of center if he wants that publication. Everyone's so in love with money these days. Funny how it never texts back, never shows up when things go wrong, but somehow still runs the whole relationship state society. Glock brought out a new 15-round magazine for the 43X. Okay. They can't destroy the Seth Rich evidence, but can't destroy any illegal firearms. Exactly. Exactly, Holden Caulfield. We are 100% sympathetic on that one. 100%. You're welcome, Buzzicup. Yep. And Wang from NVIDIA joined the Don. That should be interesting. Okay. Spook, what's going on? Don't know him, don't care. Good luck competing with YouTube, seeing that Google's the owner. Exactly. Future looks bright. No, Byron Allen. I know him from back in the day. Let me look him up and see what he was on, like America's Funniest Videos or something like that, or one of those shows. Byron Allen, American businessman and film producer. Okay. He's 65 now. When comedian Gabe Kaplan was at NBC Studios for Last Night's special, Allen visited the dressing room and asked him for advice on a career in comedy. Kaplan suggested he visit the Comedy Store. At age 14, Allen put together his first stand-up routine. Okay. Comedian Jimmy Walker saw his stand-up act and invited the 14-year-old to join his writing team alongside promising young comedians Jay Leno and David Letterman. 79 at the age of 18, Allen made his television debut on The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson, becoming the youngest comedian to ever perform on the show. Guys was. Following the appearance, he accepted an offer from NBC to become the co-host of Real People, the first role in network primetime. Yeah. Yeah. And so that was where he started. Real People. That's what I saw him. He was so boring. That show was so lame. Real People. Yeah. Yeah, this was the show. Here he is back in the 1970s, early 80s. This is what I remember buying Allen from. Real People. Yep. Real People is an American television reality show that started on NBC from 1979 to 1984, Wednesdays from 8 to 9 p.m. Its initial episodes aired in Central Time. Real People feature real people with unique occupation or hobbies. Okay. Featured a panel of seated hosts in front of a large studio audience. The hosts introduced pre-filmed segments and engaged in comedic banter. Each segment was to visit some with unique occupation or hobby. Yep. In its early seasons, it was NBC's most popular series, often scoring top of the ratings. Regular hosts John Barber, Sarah Purcell, Skip, Bill Rafferty, Mark Russell, Peter Billingsley, David Rubrick, and Fred Willard. Byron Allen as well. Fred Willard was on there too. Led to a batch of imitators. Anyway, that's the one. Real People. That's what I remember from. I couldn't remember what it was. Yeah, Real People. Fred Willard. He passed away. Fred Willard. Yeah, in 2020. He was 86. He went to VMI. I didn't know that. So Byron Allen, yeah. In 1993, he established a production company known as CF Entertainment, which would be devoted to producing low-cost, non-fiction television programming. So he had a syndicated talk show, Entertainers with Byron Allen. I saw that was boring too. The company was renamed Entertainment Studios in 2003. They became the Allen Media Group. He began his foray into scripted programming with sitcoms The First Family and Mr. Box Office. Later in the decade, he did freestyle releasing, The Griot. He bought the Weather Channel. Okay, bought part of Sinclair Broadcast Group. Acquisition of Fox Sports Network. By 2022, the company is valued over $4.5 billion. In February 2022, made a bid to buy the Denver Broncos. It was ultimately outbid by Walton. And so in 2023, made an unsuccessful bid for $3 billion to buy Paramount's BET. Yeah, and now he's got Comics Unleashed with Byron Allen. And he filed a $10 billion lawsuit in 2021, alleging McDonald's discriminated against black-owned media companies in its TV advertising budget. He said that McDonald's practiced buying ad time on media outlets that target black viewers discriminatory because those purchases were made from a budget set aside for what the complaint described as African-American tier of outlets. Stupid lawsuit. Married to former TV producer Jennifer Lucas, 2007. They have 3 children. Okay. He has residences in Aspen, Maui, Los Angeles, and New York City. In 2022, he bought a 2-home compound in Beverly Hills for $22 million and a mansion in Malibu previously owned by somebody named Gustafson for $100 million. He was in Hollywood Squares, Real People, The Alan Thicke Show, 2 episodes. Merv Griffin Show, 1 episode. Not much television career. So he's quietly made his fortune in the background. Impressive. And of course, Jennifer Lucas is white. Of course. Here he is with her. Here's Byron Allen, Jennifer Lucas. Of course. Got his trophy wife. All these Hollywood guys and sports figures. Yep. All right, Wilma, take care. You left early last time, too. Yeah, he's a very good businessman. No, he's Heidi. He's a very good businessman, but he's very quiet in the background. I just remember Byron Allen from Real People. It was boring. That show was lame, but I watched it as a kid. Yeah, it was pretty lame. But that's how I remember Byron Allen. Then he popped up here and then. I'm like, oh, Byron Allen's still around? No idea he was making such big deals in the background. Smart guy. Very smart guy. Texas, son. Who's in Texas? 1-year anniversary specials, hoping to see more of the 59s here, there. Well, yeah, so was I, Big Fish, but that's who responded. United States objects to global compact on migration. No, I didn't cover that guy. Didn't see that. State Department X account. Okay, let's go there. I haven't seen that story. Hasn't made the news. State Department spokesman. That's not right, is it? Department of State. Okay, here we go. All right. So wheels down in Beijing. I don't see anything about that. Oh, here it is. Last week, the United States refused to participate in UN's review of the Global Compact migration. The United States rejects Global Compact migration, UN efforts to facilitate replacement migration in the United States with our Western allies. UN agencies systemically facilitated mass migration to America and Europe, even as citizens of these nations call for restrictions. Now the Global Compact's latest report urges nations to expand migration and regularize pathways for illegals. Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. State Department posted several times on this. I haven't seen this. It's not making news. May 11th, May 11th, May 11th, May 11th. Oh. Yep. So that's all State Department comments. They responded to their own post. Thank you for that. I didn't see it. What's Debbie's question? Watching sunset in Dallas, says Lewis. Okay, congratulations. I don't see anything from Debbie. Question from Debbie here. U.S. actually need a Golden Dome. I understand why Israel needs something like that, but has anyone ever fired a missile at the U.S.? Well, Russia has missiles. China has missiles. So yes, we need a Golden Dome. After you give Trump, he tries his hand at everything. Even just a few clicks, he still walks away smiling away the bank. Hopes to have billions so you can try things exactly. Well, same with Elon Musk. Of course, Richard Branson is famously known as a billionaire, but Richard Branson has made plenty of missteps and mistakes. So let's talk about how YouTube doesn't promote things again, okay? So my video on Pala Pala, which I recorded in Orlando the other day, has 44,100 views. 44,100 views. So, all right, 44,000. That's the best one I've had in over a month on YouTube. But on Facebook, that same video, which I published like a day later, that same video has, you ready for this? 367,000 views. Right there. 367,000 views. And it's still going. It was 364 when I went live. So 3,000 more people watched it while I was on air giving the news for the last hour. Wow. Much different. Thank you, Facebook, for showing people my videos and not hiding them. From having just 1,000 subscribers or followers on YouTube, not all that recently, we're up to 17,000 now on this channel. That's one I just posted this morning about no Starlink. It already has 5,000 views on it. Yep. My gag one about the 10,000 refugees who returned, that one got 61,000 views. And the refugee cap, 47,000 views. 105,000 views on this one. Just, I don't know how people make money on YouTube or Facebook, but I'm not making money on Facebook. So if anyone knows how to make money, tell me how to do it. I've signed up for all the financial stuff, but it doesn't make any money. Okay. Anyway, so there you have it, folks. There you have it. I don't trust Facebook either, and I'm sure they'll take the channel away eventually, but out of desperation with the shadow banning, with the algorithm monkeying around with that YouTube has done recently, which affected a lot of creators, not just me, had to do something to get some attention, and so, yeah, it is driving some people here. You think he's going to push the red button when he comes back from China? It depends what happens in China, Big Fish. A White House staffer, Benjamin Elliston, said we have to get rid of Trump. I haven't heard that. It's Benjamin Elliston. Benjamin Elliston, White House. Oh, no, I didn't hear that. Huh. In a turn of events that stirred up a storm in political circles, Benjamin Elliston, senior budget analyst and funding manager in the executive office of the president of the White House, has found himself in the center of controversy. A hidden camera operation orchestrated by James O'Keefe's media group exposed his scathing comments. The footage released on May 12th captured Elliston and his colleague Maxim Lott openly criticized Trump in the conversation. Elliston referred to the president as erratic and a madman while stating, "We've got to get rid of him." Wow. Oh, he's a black guy.
To get rid of Trump.
Wow, this is James O'Keefe, man. I gotta find this on X. I didn't know about this. This is news to me. So let's just hang on a second here. Hang on a second here.
We have to get rid of Trump. Seriously. He's a mess. He's fucking it up for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. We gotta get rid of him. Honestly.
Yeah.
With him at the top, it's next to impossible to do anything. He's a madman. Literally. He's invincible. Nothing can stop him. And that's dangerous. The way his decisions are so erratic, you would think he drinks. He doesn't drink. And that's what makes it so dangerous, that someone could be of sound mind and body, totally coherent, could just be so reckless in their decision making.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Wow.
We have to get rid of Trump.
Have to get rid of Trump. Will the Secret Service arrest him? Wow. Ungrateful black man there. Wow. Yes, Flesh, and I'm saying Facebook exposure should push people towards YouTube. That's why I started using it there. And suspension, yeah, it is a racist pig. Yep. I've been covering the drama. Yes, Jay, yeah, I did. I covered the elections. I've talked about it, and I said that Starmer's not long for this world. He'll be gone soon. Yep. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Did you guys like my image of Starlink that I made for that video? What was that? Somebody just did something. Let me see what it was. Oh, crap. What's going on here? There we go. Oh, thank you for your membership. Herriot Janssen from Johannesburg, 58 months. How's it going, man? How you doing? Seeing some of the OGs floating around here. Check this one out. This is what I made earlier. No connection. ANC fail. Error 404. All these poor, it's funny because I made this with Gemini, and Gemini said, I can't make images of rural black South Africans. And then it made this image. Starlink beaming to Botswana, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Eswatini. Everybody enjoying the internet. Look at that. Of course, it might not work because the keyboards aren't plugged into anything. And there's no power. Debbie, what are you saying? I keep hearing you're saying something. What are you saying there? I keep Debbie's, and I'm not seeing anything from Debbie till just then. People keep saying this. Debbie, your messages aren't showing up. There's a lot of chat here. I'm only getting the afterwards. I'm not getting what your comment is. I still know what Debbie's upset about. I can't find it. I give up. Anyway, yeah, so I made that, and then I made that image on Gemini, and then look at the Gemini. This is hilarious. This is what they came back to me with, okay? You ready for this? So this is what Gemini said. Look at the message at the top. I cannot create an image depicting rural black South Africans. What are those people? Oh my goodness. I cannot create an image depicting rural black South Africans. Who are they? Rural Tunisians? What do you mean England's coming back to their senses? What, by getting rid of Keir Starmer? They haven't got rid of him yet. He wants to go back to the Brexit. He wants to bring them back to EU. Yeah, the ANC don't want the voters to get cheaper internet and go beyond a 30% education level. You're darn right about that. They don't want that. Anyway. What is your opinion about what is medically persecution? Medical persecution? Well, if you deny medical care because of your skin color, it's racism and it's persecution. Done and dusted. Story finished. Yep. Hello, faithful farmer. How are you doing? Labor Party lost more than 400 seats. Yeah, no, I know. I covered that, Crystal. I covered that. And Reform gained nearly 1,400 seats. But the story they're trying to make is that the Green Party is surging. Now, the Green Party gained. Reform is surging. But Reform's percentage of population was lower. Doesn't matter. They won more seats. Labor won the election last time because Conservatives and Reform split the Conservative vote. The Tories and Reform split the vote. And therefore, they basically, all the Reform candidates didn't get enough votes, so they didn't get any seats. They got virtually no seats in Parliament when they had the second highest percentage of votes. Because it's first past the post. You can give them 20% of the vote if there's 5 candidates and then win the election. So that's what happened. They split the conservative vote. Doing okay. Good to hear. Well, he doesn't need approval to create a program for the Congressional Dome, but he needs funding from Congress to make it happen. So yes and no. He doesn't need approval to do it, but he'll need money from Congress. So yes. The executive branch can't fund government. Only Congress funds government. Yes, Red, you can ask a refugee-related question now. The news is over. Yes, Pizza Party. Many people have had their case under review and have come to America, and their case still says under review. So I told you all to quit watching that stupid frickin' portal. Stop it. Heinrich just remembers things. 34,000 people lost their job 3 months. Those are all families that will now start to rely on grants. Each taxpayer funds 30 plus unemployed people. Yep. I didn't say it's going to turn to refugee session. In fact, I haven't answered a single refugee question. I just told people to stop gazing at that. Yep. No, 1 trillion is not a hefty price. It's $1 billion, $100 billion a year. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's a rounding error. 1.2 trillion. That won't be nothing. No. Over a decade, that's not much. The problem is it will escalate if that's the initial cost. Well, thank you, Jasper. I'm glad you have no questions, and I'm glad you're grateful. That's very kind of you. Be sure to hit that like button, folks. If you haven't done already, how many likes have we got? Chat rate's pretty good tonight. 273 likes. Interesting. No, I don't think the Search World Services RSC subsidiary will be replaced. There's no one to replace them. The only way to do it is send a bunch of U.S. staff over to do the job in their place, and I don't think that's going to happen. Nope. They've known there's been a problem with RSC since the moment they hired them to do this, and here we are 9 months later, and they're still screwing up. And people are signing up for my Facebook page left and right. Yep, a few seconds ago, 2 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 subscribers just in the last 2 minutes. But not here. All right, let me see if Ronaldo sent me a link. Okay. Yep. Can we crowdfund some electricity? Yeah. The Facebook link, sure. The debt ceiling will be raised to 2 trillion, to 2 trillion. My shirt makes you stay, U.S. Army War College. Well, thank you. You're welcome, Red. The most thing happening here is people giving each other misinformation and getting spooked, so we wait patiently for our results to continue our process. I'm not sure what Jasper means there. Has U.S. or Canada ever been attacked by a missile or rocket? No. Do we really need the Golden Dome? Well, when we don't have it, intercontinental ballistic missiles land and below nuclear devices or hydrogen-based bombs here, then it'll be too late to say we need it. Leaders make decisions for the future, not the past. See, that's the problem with the ANC. They make decisions for the past. They don't make decisions for the future. COPD passed because he accidentally left his oxygen in and ran out. That sucks. Karen, you're there. Karen, were you blocked earlier? I was told you were blocked earlier. Maybe it wasn't you. Karen Lange. Lewis wants to know, I've asked if I've heard how refugee agents treat people in Dallas. Well, I've heard lots of things about Dallas. Do you have something specific you want to ask me? You're welcome, West Coast. I mean, let's all follow people who have jobs and can subscribe. Well, yeah, you can all follow. All right, so Trevor's back to troll. You think we'll get a statement on refugee cap increase? No, I don't know if we'll get a statement. It may just look. Okay, here's the thing. We have someone in here who said that they'll be in Dallas next week. So I presume that they have gotten, or in Texas next week. I presume they've gotten their tickets to fly next week. There's no way on the 13th of this month we haven't gone beyond 7,000, okay? Well, maybe. Maybe he might be the last one. I mean, there were 6,066 that came over this fiscal year before that date, okay? So now that's been 13 days, half a month since May 1st. We know people came May 1st because Lawrence McDonald was one of them. He arrived here. Or was it anyway, somebody arrived May 1st. Maybe it wasn't Lawrence. But we know people arrived on May 1st. So people came May 1st. So that's 12 more days. I don't know how many people are coming each day, but we're not sending 20 or 30 like we were last year. We're sending 100 more per day. There's only less than 900 slots left in the cap. So we either already gone past it or no one else is coming. I mean, so we have to wait and see if no one else comes the rest of the month because we clearly should have gone past the cap by now. So Lewis says, I received my tickets, and that's for a week from today, which would be the 20th. So we're still sending people, unless it's dribs and drabs of 5 or 10 people here, or 10 or 20 people here, there's no way that we haven't gone past the cap. What is wrong with New Zealand? Well, that's a very open-ended question, Joe, Texas. What do you mean by that? I remember from Charlie, wondering if he's still alive, or hopefully USA. I don't know who Charlie you're talking about, Karen. You talking about Charlie who's a woman? I hear from Charlie all the time on WhatsApp. Subscribing is free, Trevor. I think you're confused. Everyone can subscribe for free, and we ask people to subscribe. Maybe you're talking about memberships. Those who have money should become members. Is that what you mean? Trevor Charles, you mean people who have money should become members? Maybe that's what you mean. Grok Matrix says your passports are missing. Yeah, future looks bright. That's been my position. Unless they're asking for more money, it's not really an issue. Oh, you're talking about Facebook. Thank you, Trevor. Well, you weren't clear. You didn't say Facebook, man. Thanks. The reality is the economy is reformed by jailbird communist lazy buggers. Michelle Dutchess, what's going on? Lindy said she wants to move from New Zealand to the USA. Isn't New Zealand amazing? No, New Zealand's not amazing. New Zealand is it's got a conservative government, but it's still a socialist system. And it's very, very difficult country to live in. It's a lovely place to visit. I enjoyed my time there in the 2011 World Cup. It was amazing. But the attitudes of the people in charge of that country, or even the ones who are conservative, are just bizarre. I intended actually to live in New Zealand. Long before Peter Jackson's stupid, Lord of the Rings movies ruined it for me. I always intended to retire in New Zealand when I was a kid. I loved New Zealand, the concept of New Zealand. But I've been there, and I've seen how they behave. And Jacinda Ardern is just the tip of the iceberg of evil, nasty socialist. It's no guarantee that country. That's a country that banned U.S. nuclear ships from coming to its shores, but was in a defense pact with us. Screw them. So they're not reliable partners at all. Okay, folks. Yeah, they're going to Australia. I said, no, that, but they need to know. Otherwise, they'll think I went for my medicals. Oh, okay. Yes, but I don't know. I mean, the question here for you is, do you have to submit your old passport to apply for a new one? You run a risk there. But, I mean, I don't know what to tell you on that one. I have to turn my passport in America to get the new passport. So I don't know what advice to give you on that one. Unless you have a good Home Affairs office and you're confident you'll get the passport back in a month or so. But, I mean, mine was screwed up here because it's handled by contractors and it sat in an office in Philadelphia for like 6 weeks. I had to freaking go through hoops to get my passport and got it the day before I flew to South Africa last year. Cost of living is terrible and the government's very woke. Yeah, it's exactly right. Exactly right. Thank you, Lindy. Yep. All right, so folks, we're going to wrap it up here. I've got Ronaldo coming up at the top of the hour. You're going to be automatically redirected to Ronaldo's stream. I got to go check on something. Thank you for being here, and be sure to hit the like button. There should be a Night Owls tonight. Tomorrow I've got Caravan to Midnight, so I have to figure out how I'm going to do a Night Owls tomorrow. But there should be a Night Owls after my radio program tonight, okay? But you guys take care. Thanks for being here. God bless. Be sure to hit the like button. I do appreciate your patronage, and thank you for all your likes and thanks, and for watching the program. I hope you found the news informative and perhaps even entertaining. Cheers.